country. Former President Goodluck Jonathan and former head of state Abdulsalam Abubakar threw their weight behind the initiative. And Kano State High Court vacated its order suspending Mr. Abdullahi Ganduje as the national chairman of the APC, adjourns hearing of the substantive case till April the 30th.
On business news tonight, the Naira drops by 5.2% to a 6-day low against the dollar at the official foreign exchange market after a period of appreciation.
On sports news tonight, Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta warns players that ninth-placed Chelsea could be a dangerous opponent if taken lightly ahead of Tuesday's night London derby at the Emirates.
And from Abuja, the nation's capital, Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa emerges candidate of the All Progressives Congress in the forthcoming governorship election in Ondo State.
And in international news from London, the Israeli military's intelligence chief has resigned, saying he took responsibility for the failures before Hamas's attack on Israel on the 7th of October.
Insecurity in Africa is a major challenge, and the president is seeking a continent-wide solution to the menace. In the light of this, President Bola Tinubu is calling for the establishment of a regional counterterrorism center that will serve as a hub for intelligence sharing, operational coordination, and capacity building. President Bola Tinubu canvassed this today at the African high-level meeting on counterterrorism in Abuja, where he declared that Africa must take a comprehensive approach to combating terrorism.
Agriculture and industrial output continue to mount, throwing millions into poverty.
To meet the dynamism of the terrorism threat environment.
United Nations provides leadership, coordination, and accountability. The United Nations introducing a provision that dedicates 40% of the cybersecurity. We are taking the battle to that. NCTC.
Terrorism's arm is felt far and wide for very reason that there's no respect for national boundaries, ethnic, bloodless, or religious creed. We must therefore fight this threat together, combining determined national effort with well-tailored regional and international collaboration. Those who think illegal money has no connection with the financing of terrorism are surely mistaken. The international community has both the moral and legal obligation to help in this cause because it is outside money, not African money, that fuels the illegal operations. Key to our collective efforts against terrorism is the need for a fully operational regional counter-terrorism center. This center will serve as a hub for intelligence sharing, operational coordination, and capacity building throughout our region.
Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu. Well, staying with security matters, the Minister of Police Affairs and the Inspector General of Police are not on the same page regarding the creation of state police in the country. While the Minister of Police Affairs believes that state police will enhance community policing, while the Inspector General of Police is of the opinion that Nigeria is not mature enough for state police. Both men were guests at a policy dialogue organized by the House of Representatives and the Policy and Legal Advocacy Center in Abuja. Our correspondent Terry Kume reports.
New approach to tackling insecurity.
Former head of state, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, former President Goodluck Jonathan, federal lawmakers, security agencies, members of the diplomatic corps, traditional and religious leaders attend a one-day policy dialogue on state policing system. The event, which is organized by the House of Representatives and the Policy and Legal Advocacy Center, comes as the National Assembly prepares for another round of constitution amendment.
There are lots of people who are very, very anxious that the police be reformed, that the police be given more powers, be given more responsibility. Perhaps that the way to go might actually be to decentralize the police in a way that ensures that the decentralization of the police safeguards it from abuse.
The prospect of a state-level policy architecture, which is at the heart of this dialogue, is paramount, given the imperatives of addressing the scourge of crime, insurgency, and various forms of violence that are impacting on Nigeria's development trajectory, thereby presenting a threat to the well-being and safety of all citizens.
In the previous assembly, the state police bill was rejected by federal lawmakers who feared that state governors may abuse the system. It appears the federal legislature is shifting grounds, just as former heads of states throw their weight behind the creation of state police to address the security concerns across the country.
As we explore the models of state policing that have been successful in other nations, we must be judicious in adopting these frameworks to fit our unique Nigerian situation.
We are not going to debate, and we should not waste our time debating whether we should have state police or not. Listening to the speaker, he gave the history. Even in this country, we operated it before. Why is that the military scrapped it? Because of the abuse. And that is the area we should concentrate on.
As much as we are talking of establishing state police, we should also look into the role vis-a-vis of our royal fathers.
The current police leadership and its parent ministry, however, appear not to be in accord on the matter of state police.
I will emphasize that state police can enhance local responsiveness, improve crime prevention, and strengthen security at the grassroots level. I will recommend an institutional and legal framework that delineates the roles, responsibilities, and jurisdiction of state police forces within the broader national security architecture.
It is the submission of the leadership of the Nigerian police force that Nigeria is yet to mature and ready for the establishment of state-controlled police. This is due to the underlying reasons. One, there is no adequate resources in place for police infrastructure. Again, there are potential for abuse of power by state political leadership.
For President Bola Tinubu, who is represented by his vice, deliberations on state police must be thorough to produce workable resolutions.
The President deserves commendation for his openness and proactive stance towards the idea of reforming and decentralizing the police force. The concept of state policing is not merely a policy proposal, but a potential milestone in the evolution of our law enforcement framework.
In the last administration, 25 states delayed consideration of the constitution amendment bills sent by the National Assembly because the National Assembly did not include the establishment of state police. Also, immediate past President Muhammadu Buhari openly rejected the idea of a state policing system. Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, gunmen have reportedly killed a professor of law at the Babcock University, Ogun State, Professor Yinka Olomojobi, and abducted 2 others in the Ikperu area of the state. Professor Olomojobi was reportedly shot dead on Friday for allegedly refusing to be taken away by the suspected gunmen. The 2 residents were also kidnapped and taken to an unknown destination. Confirming the incident, the police public relations officer in the state, Omolola Odutola, said 1 person has been arrested in connection with the incident. He said the suspect was arrested based on reasonable suspicion as police commenced discreet investigations. Troops of the Nigerian Army deployed for counterterrorism operations in the northeast in conjunction with the Civilian Joint Task Force in a clearance operation have neutralized 2 terrorists on their way to attack Mashirori community in Borno State. A statement by the Department of Army Public Relations explains that the troops moved into an ambush position to intercept the terrorists following intelligence about the terrorist movement to the community. In the firefight that ensued, 2 terrorists were eliminated and 2 AK-47 rifles, 2 magazines, 58 rounds of 7.62mm special ammunition and a motorbike used by the terrorists were recovered. Governors of some states in northern Nigeria are seeking the collaboration with the United Nations to find solutions for the myriad of challenges they are having to contend with in their states. The governors of Katsina, Kaduna, Kebbi, Jigawa, Sokoto, Niger, Zamfara and Benue states met with the Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed and her team at the Nigerian Embassy in Washington, D.C. to discuss avenues to getting solutions to issues of insecurity, food security, education, and other matters affecting critical sectors of the states.
This meeting is hosted by the Nigerian ambassador to the U.S., Uzoma Emenike, between governors of 8 states in the northern part of Nigeria and the United Nations delegation led by the Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed to examine matters affecting the states and find workable solutions.
For us to achieve the Millennium Goals for SDG, we need to address the issue of insecurity because it's the key and fundamental. It affects food security, it affects lack of education or out of school children. It affects our health facilities and also our ability to even go to hospitals.
We need support, we need research, we need a lot of collaboration with UN, and these things are ways we can come out or transition out of this crisis. It's very, very important. So I don't want to bore, my colleagues are here, they want to talk, but I know there are a lot of things we have seen as root causes of where we are and how we can go out of this crisis.
Agricultural productivity is another area that has seen immense decline due to insecurity.
And that is now becoming a nightmare. We can't even get to the farms. Our fear is when we might just migrate into Zamfara. Nothing personal, my brother. Our people are ready to go back to farms, including young people, because Kebbi State just recently were able to purchase about 50,000 solar phones and CNG phones, just to make sure that teenagers go back to farm.
The state governors are confident that with help from the United Nations, they will be able to tackle and resolve the problems plaguing their various states.
In part 2 after the break, Kano State High Court vacates its order suspending Mr. Abdullahi Ganduje as the national chairman of the APC, adjourns hearing of the substantive case to April the 30th. Please stay with us.
Hello, Mr. Mike. I'm excited to let you know that you have successfully moved your pension account to Stanbic IBTC Pension Managers. I just sent you an email. Please take a look while I go over some of the benefits you start to enjoy immediately.
Move to Stanbic IBTC Pension Managers today and let us help you retire into your extraordinary future. Call 01-271-6000 or visit www.stanbicibtcpension.com for more information.
Mr. Malik, are you there?
No matter the weather, no matter the tide, we go there together. We stand by your side. No yawa, no problem. Go fit stand to fight us. We go stand together. We go beat them down. Oh, no matter the weather, no matter the tide, no matter the time.
Today, Abu got a really expensive ride. Chill, Abu. Use InDrive and negotiate for the most fair price for you. InDrive, people driven. Oh no! After a party, Binta needs a safe ride. Binta, get InDrive and choose rides by driver's rating, car, and time of arrival. InDrive, people driven.
Ease the pain with Izodol. For fast relief from pains and fever, Izodol comes in easy-to-swallow tablets for adults and suspension for children. Izodol, ease the pain. A product of May and Baker. If symptoms persist after 2 days, please see your doctor.
Now, all of us like to chop better food. Food where they make body tranga and vegetables were fresh like see tomorrow not day. We want make the chocolate sweet the way we go like them. No cubes. Now be the secret. They make them with correct ingredients like chicken, parsley, garlic, plenty iron corn full and palm to make your chocolate palm bar for you. Come the sweet well. Now be the cocoa. Make we carry salute, throw away give no.
Change your world by changing waiting to your plate.
There's a drop of goodness in everyone. Share goodness with someone today. Malta Guinness. Enjoy a world of good. New beginnings are always colorful. When we celebrate the start of life's journey, we marry in colors. With our proudly Nigerian Dulux paints, now available in any color. Express your world however you want it. Visit a Dulux Color Center to get any color instantly. Dulux, let's color. The future belongs to the dreamers, to the doers, to those who are not afraid of the side hustle. It's for those who are ready to turn their passion into something big. And to help keep you revitalized and inspired, Top T is with you every step of the way. You are made for more. Find your inspiration. Top T, big round bags of flavor.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. The president seeks synergy in tackling terrorism in Africa, calls for the establishment of a regional counterterrorism center for operational coordination and capacity building across continent. Minister of Police Affairs and the Inspector General of Police disagree on the creation of state police in the country. Former President Goodluck Jonathan and former Head of State Abdulsalami Abubakar threw their weight behind the initiative. The Kano State High Court vacated its order suspending Abdullahi Ganduje as the national chairman of the APC, adjourns hearing of the substantive case till April the 30th. And the Israeli military's intelligence chief resigns, takes responsibility for the failures before Hamas attack on Israel on October the 7th. To the Judiciary in Kano, where the State High Court, presided over by Justice Usman Naaba, has vacated the order suspending Mr. Abdullahi Ganduje as the national chairman of the APC. The interim injunction order is for staying of the execution of the earlier order contained in the ruling of the court delivered on April the 17th this year. Now, the court had directed the parties to maintain status quo ante as at April the 15th in relation to the suspension of Mr. Ganduje by the Ward Executive Committee pending the hearing and determination of the motion on notice. Two persons, Haladu Gwanjo and Laminu Sani Barguma, who claimed to be the chairman and secretary of the APC Ganduje Ward in Dawakin Tofa local government area of the state, had secured an order suspending Mr. Ganduje as the national chairman of the party. The judge, however, adjourned hearing of the substantive case till April the 30th this year. Now, the Bayelsa State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal has reserved judgment in a petition filed by the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Timipre Silva, against the declaration of Doyediri as the governor of the state. Chairman of the tribunal, Justice Adekunle Adele, announced that the judgment will be delivered within 180 days statutorily allowed by law. The chairman says all the parties in the petition will be communicated as soon as the date is fixed. At Monday's proceedings, all the parties adopted their written addresses, either asking the court to uphold their petition on the ground that the election was marred by irregularities or that the All Progressives Congress does not have a tangible case before the tribunal. Here in Lagos, the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos has freed a former Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NMASA, Mr. Patrick Akpobolokemi, over an alleged 8.5 billion naira fraud filed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Justice Ayokunle Faji acquitted and discharged the former NMASA boss today, while ruling on a no-case submission filed by him and one other defendant, a staff of NMASA, Josephine Otuaga, in the 22-count charge made against them. Justice Faji held that the EFCC failed to establish a prima facie case against both of them. Now, the court also ruled that a former commander of the Joint Task Force Operation Pulo Shield, Major General Emmanuel Atewe, retired, who is the second defendant, and the staff of NMASA, Kime and Gonzu, who is the third defendant, have to open their defense as they have a case to answer. Mr. Akpobolokemi, alongside others, were arraigned in 2016 on an amended 22-count charge bordering on conspiracy, conversion, and stealing by fraudulent conversion. With today's ruling, Mr. Akpobolokemi has now been discharged on 4 out of 6 charges, with 2 charges still pending against him, one before Justice Bukola Adebi of the Lagos High Court and another before Justice Faji. A controversial cross-dresser and socialite, Idris Olarewaju Okoye, popularly known as Bobrisky, has filed a notice of appeal challenging his conviction on a 4-count charge of naira abuse. In his notice of appeal filed by his lawyer, Bimbo Kusanu, Bobrisky is asking the court to set aside the 6 months imprisonment sentence imposed on him and replace same with the option of a fine of 50,000 naira on each of the counts against him. On April the 12th this year, Justice Abimbola Awogboro of the Federal High Court Lagos had sentenced Bobrisky to 6 months imprisonment without an option of fine for abusing the Nigerian currency, the naira. The political tension in Rivers State is showing no sign of abating as the Rivers State House of Assembly has once again vetoed Governor Siminalayi Fubara and passed a major law in the state. During plenary today, the House overrode the governor and enacted an amendment to the Rivers State local government law, which empowers them to extend the tenures of the council chairman. Our correspondent, Charles Oporum, reports.
As early as 8:30 a.m., members of the Rivers State House of Assembly are here for a plenary session, and the item for debate is the amendment to the Rivers State local government law.
Members are already aware that we forwarded this, the amended bill to the governor for his assent in line with the 1999 Constitution as amended on the 14th day of last month, which is on the 14th day of March 2024. And as it stands, the governor has chosen to withhold his assent by not getting back to us. So we're empowered by the Constitution to make progress and, where necessary, override the governor's assent.
For the lawmakers, the governor should be vetoed on the matter.
If he has refused to assent to the bill being sent to him, at this point, our hands are tied and the law empowers us to override. So at this point, we waste no time than to go ahead and override.
Of the same Constitution provides that via the governor withholds assent, and the bill is again passed by the ask of the Assembly. By 2/3 majority, the bill shall become law, and the assent of the governor shall not be required.
The Speaker, however, explains the amendment.
What this House is trying to do with this bill is to close the gap. That problem that may arise when election is not conducted and democratically elected officials are not available to occupy these offices, what happens? So this bill intends to cure that problem.
At the close of voting, the Speaker brings down the gavel, signaling passage of the law.
Those for, 22, against, nil, abstention, nil. Other members, by this voting, the Rivers State Local Government Amendment Bill number 4 of 2024, which is a bill for a law to further amend the Rivers State Local Government Law number 5 of 2018 and for other matters connected thereto, is hereby passed for the second time, and the assent of the governor is no longer required in line with Section 100, subsection 5 of the 1999 Constitution as altered.
This latest veto is the 6th time the House of Assembly would override the governor to enact laws since the beginning of the political face-off between the governor and the state assembly members. Charles Oporum, Channels Television News.
So let's head to the nation's capital now, where Victoria Lonjon is standing by to give us the very latest from our Abuja studio. Hello, Victoria.
Hello, Ayo. We begin here with politics in Ondo State, where Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa has been declared winner of the All Progressives Congress governorship primary in the state. Now, this was contained by the chairman of the election organizing committee and governor of Kogi State, Usman Ododo, in the early hours of today. According to the results announced by Governor Ododo, Governor Aiyedatiwa secured 48,569 votes to defeat his closest challengers, Mayowa Akim Folari, who scored 15,343 votes, and Olushola Oke, who polled 14,915 votes.
The waiting is finally over as party faithful gather at the Dome Hall after the rescheduled election at the Okitipupa local government. The arrival of the committee chairman signals the beginning of the long-awaited exercise, and he goes straight to business.
At the end of the voting exercise, votes were counted and recorded at the ward and transmitted to local government areas coalition centers.
Midway into the exercise, however, the returning officer of Ifedore local government area says there were no elections in the local government.
Having been mandated by the committee to go to the local government, we went, the entire wards, we tried to coordinate around the entire wards. We couldn't find any human being in the ward, as everybody has taken shelter in their different homes. We also saw that there was the deployment of 5 policemen already before our arrival as a result of the virus. So what I have, the total registered voters in that area is 9940. But here I entered 000 for all the candidates.
The announcement of the results then continued for the remaining 17 local government areas. The incumbent governor was announced as the winner of the exercise.
Francis A. Faduile, 353. Ifeoluwa O. Oye Dele, 462. Lucky O. Aiyedatiwa, 48,569. By the power conferred on the committee and in line with the APC guidelines for the nomination of candidates of the party in the general election, I, Ahmed Usman Ododo, hereby declare that Lucky Orimisan Aiyedatiwa, having satisfied the requirement of the law and scored the highest number of lawful votes cast in the direct primary election conducted on the 20th day of April 2024 in Ondo State, is hereby returned elected, and he is declared the winner of the Ondo State APC governorship primary election.
As part of the party guidelines for the ratification and affirmation of the result, 5 executive members from each of the wards affirmed his victory, while the APC governorship candidate expresses appreciation to the party members for the confidence reposed in him.
The greatness of Ondo State is what matters at this moment. I understand that I must leave no stone unturned in order to cement the trust you have graciously depicted on me. I therefore request that we all join hands together building the future that we all yearn for in Ondo State.
He also called on other contestants to rally round him and work together for the victory of the party in the November governorship election.
And still ahead on the news at 10, the Naira drops by a 5.2% to a 6-day low against the dollar at the official forex market after a period of appreciation. That's some business news. To join us again.
Brother Jumble, why you dey fumble? This sister Carol, she don't change her bottle. You no need to dey suffer to send money, oh. Carol, make you dial the number 894. Make you know they wait. 894. No need to dey stand for line. 894. It is safe and secure.
Dial star 894 hash to get started. Powered by First Bank.
We all know the feeling, hanging out with friends and reaching for that refreshing bottle of soda. But hold on a minute. What we don't always see is what's hidden inside those bottles. So when you reach for that bottle, can, or juice box, remember, it's not just a drink. It's a threat to your health.
The Duchess International Hospital caters to every aspect of the family's health needs. A one-stop shop for maternity and child health services, emergency medicine and critical care, medical and surgical subspecialties, dental and eye care, and a range of other subspecialties and services, all available at a single location right here in the heart of Ikeja. And it really doesn't matter if you're paying out of pocket using your HMO or private insurance. We focus completely on providing that world-class affordable healthcare for all the family at all times.
Enjoy the delicious creamy goodness of cowbells. With Vita-Rich and vitamin B9, which supports brain development. Cowbell, so creamy, so good.
On my dark marks, I've tried everything. Nivea Lumina 630 works from day one with visible results in just 2 weeks and 71% dark marks reduction in 12. Join the 1 million women already using Lumina 630 from Nivea.
Black, it's not dark, it's bright. Black is bold. Black is every color all together.
Martin,
your thing, our thing mixed together. Black shines brighter.
Welcome back to the news at 10. We continue with the outcome of the Ondo APC primary as the appeal committee set up by the national leadership of the APC for the Ondo governorship primary says it has received 3 petitions from aspirants who are aggrieved over the election process. Former Governor of Bauchi State, Mohammed Abubakar, who is the head of the 5-member primary election appeal committee, explained that the petitions were received from 3 aspirants, Olubenga Edema, Jimmy Odimayo, and Wale Akinterenwa. While promising to be fair in treating the petitions, Mr. Abubakar notes that his team will only work with facts and figures brought before it by the aggrieved aspirants. And meanwhile, some other aspirants in the elections have been reacting to the conduct of the poll, which they have condemned as poorly handled. The Director of Strategic Communication of the Ashiori movement, Banji Okunomo, an associate of one of the aspirants, Senator Jimo Ibrahim, insists that the elections did not hold in some parts of the state. He called on the leadership of the APC to cancel the elections. On his part, the Deputy Director General of the Olushola Oke Campaign Organization, Mr. Rotimi Ogunleye, claims the polls were fraudulent.
We are waiting for further directive from our principal. He has told us to hold on. We'll wait, and when that decision is taken, we would communicate that to the entire people of Ondo State and beyond. But before then, from personal opinion, no election was held anywhere. They are aware. They know. They know. The people of Ondo State, they know. You are reporters. They should show me. They should show me where accreditation of the voter is done, and they queued based on that accreditation, and votes were counted.
In fact, this is the first time, this is the first time direct primary will be done in Ondo State. People came out in their largest number, but they could not exercise their right to vote because there were no election materials, there were no officials to conduct the election. Everybody returned home disappointed, and only for some people to configure certain, votes to themselves and announce themselves as winner of the election. It is not done. In fact, the funniest of it was a case of one of the aspirants, in person of Mayowa Akinfolani, who made a public disclosure that he had been spoken to in Abuja to step aside in the race. And in fact, the video is all over, it's trending all over. Only for the same man, being the candidate of some element within at the level of Abuja there, to now be given or allotted 115,000 votes as the second in that race, that he came second. How? Somebody who had withdrawn from the race will now come second.
Away from election matters, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, has shut an Abuja-based Chinese supermarket situated at the China General Chamber of Commerce in the nation's capital. Now, this followed the outrage expressed by Nigerians over the discriminatory policy implemented by the management of the facility, which restricted entry exclusively to Chinese citizens and barred Nigerians from the supermarket. The facility manager of the complex, Shuaibu Sanusi, however, explained that only Nigerians within the complex are allowed to shop in the supermarket, while those from outside are barred from doing so. In the meantime, the Chinese owners of the supermarket have been summoned by the FCCPC. To education matters now in the nation's capital, where a brand new school, the Abuja World Academy, is set to begin operations. Now, according to the school authorities, the inspiration behind establishing the school stems from the commitment to provide world-class education that combines academic excellence and innovation for all ages in a safe environment. Abuja World Academy prides itself on delivering in every area of learning, which include the arts, sciences, sports, and a wide offer of cultural activities, so that students are ready for the world beyond school in a well-secured environment. Situated in Jahi, Abuja, the school boasts of a state-of-the-art facility on a total land area of 3 hectares with sports facilities. They also offer a Cambridge curriculum. With their plans up their sleeves, they hold a lunch, an exhibition for intending parents, showcasing all that the school has to offer. They pride themselves on 4 values: responsibility, integrity, curiosity, and empathy. The school authorities explain what inspired the concept of the school.
Our aspirations are to create the very finest school in Nigeria, both academically and pastorally. We're creating a holistic learning environment where our students are safe and happy.
They also speak on the targeted age group and the gains for each student.
Our aim is that the children grow from babies into young adults that are ready to take their place in the world as global leaders. We offer a pathway that takes them either onto A-levels, onto foundation degrees in the UK or other international universities, or to sixth form and universities here in Nigeria.
Parents at the exhibition also share their thoughts.
The presentation for me indicates really a school that is ready, that understands the modern demands for quality education, but in a safe and secure environment.
From what I learned from this presentation today, they're all about creating a balance. Balance for the children, balance in the environment. So they're not just gaining for children who are, academically excellent, but in every other area.
According to the school authorities, the facilities are set for completion by June 2024 and for the commencement of the new academic year in September. They add that admissions are now open for all intending students. And that's it from Abuja. It's now back to you, Ayo, for the rest of the news at 10.
Many thanks, Victoria. About 150 women have undergone training in Ogun State in sustainable agribusiness using technology for food sufficiency and security, sponsored by a non-governmental organization, the Adiola Aziz Community Care Foundation. The chief promoter of the foundation, Mrs. Adiola Aziz, says this has become expedient in order to chart a new course in agriculture to reduce poverty and inequality among the women folk. The 2-day event held in Ijebu-Ode attracted the presence of wives of the present and former governors of Ogun State, Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun and Mrs. Olufunsho Amosun.
These beneficiaries are participating in a 2-day training aimed for women farmers, aimed at shifting agricultural practices towards embracing technology and modern methods. Which is an extended celebration of International Women's Day, drew notable figures such as the wife of the Ogun State Governor, Bamidele Abiodun, and wife of former Governor, Olufunsho Amosun.
We're gathered to collectively empower.
Chairperson of the Adiola Aziz Community Care Foundation asked the state government to implement agriculture interventions to ensure women succeed in their business.
We are here today to invite all our stakeholders, our government, who I am charging, and they are already doing so, to set up interventions that address the concerns and needs of women in agriculture, such as access to funding, access to land.
Wife of the Ogun State Governor, Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun, is the special guest of honor, who speaks on the importance of the role women play in food security.
Whilst women make up roughly 70% of the agricultural workforce in Nigeria, they also feel the brunt of the impact of any economic shocks as they struggle to feed their families. Therefore, it is important for us to recognize the critical role women play in our ability to achieve food security in Nigeria.
Day 2 of the program features another special guest, wife of the former governor, Mrs. Olufunsho Amosu. She focuses on the importance of the use of technology in agribusiness.
If you can think it, we can achieve it. Through hard work, dedication, resilience, perseverance, consistency, and God's benevolence, we can make progress. We can achieve it. We can succeed.
The participants from the Ogun East Senatorial District were trained on agriculture fundamentals, record keeping, irrigation management, financial management, agri-financing, and received guidance from agriculture and health experts.
Before, I'm not exposed to using technology to do farming or in agri. So, but with this exposure, I'm better informed, and then I will know how to manage resources to be able to actualize my goal of getting profit in farming.
I want to thank them for what they have done, for this laudable program given to us and the opportunity that among the women they chose me. I really thank God for their life also.
At the end of the 2-day rigorous training, beneficiaries were presented with certificate of participation with the expectation that what has been learned would be effectively put to practice for food sufficiency.
The Made in Nigeria Public Relations Week has opened in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, with a session with students of mass communication from public and private universities and polytechnics in Ogun State. The occasion, attended by the National President of the Nigeria Public Relations, Dr. Ike Nliaku, is geared towards stimulating and broadening the interests of the students in public relations. The students were asked to strive and develop their innate and God-given abilities with strategic emphasis on packaging and innovation. Business News is up next with Jocko Rogers.
Banking so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thank you so much, Ayo. Business News now. After recording notable period of appreciation, Nigeria's currency depreciated today by 5.2% to 1,234 naira 49 kobo against the dollar, the official foreign exchange market. According to data from financial markets dealers and quotation, the sharp depreciation comes against the 1,072 naira exchange rate recorded on Wednesday last week, which led to projections that it may drop below the 1,000 naira level against the dollar. The drop comes less than 2 days after the central bank governor, Mr. Yemi Cardoso, announced that the naira was declared the best performing currency globally this month. One more company news now. Listed financial services giant FBN Holdings Limited has officially appointed Olusegun Alebioshu as the acting chief executive officer of its subsidiary First Bank of Nigeria Limited. His appointment follows the surprise resignation of Mr. Adeshola Adedunton, who was due to complete his tenure by the end of December this year. Mr. Alebioshu began his banking career with Oceanic Bank PLC, now EcoBank, in 1991. He joined First Bank in 2016 as the Group Executive Chief Risk Officer and rose through the ranks before his recent elevation. Let's take a look at the domestic stock market now, and Laddie Williams has all the details for us.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Time to get a check on the first trading day of the last full trading week of April. Well, Q2 is moving really fast in 2024, and it's a green start, 0.13% up, even though we're still below that 100,000 all-share index psychological level, just about 400 points to get back above the 100K. Market cap 56 trillion. And we see trading activity was more buoyant today with volume and value of trades higher. But the sectoral performance, we've seen the banking that's been hammered for the past couple of weeks now, but it's up 1.27% to start the week. Consumer goods marginally down 0.01%. And we see oil and gas maintaining that unchanged Portia, this time. Well, let's get a check on the fugas now. That's the Tier 1 banks. 3 of the 5 of the fugas there up today. UBA 0.66%, GTCO 9.55%, but we see FBNH on change. I guess investors are still, digesting the resignation of the former CEO, Dr. Adedato, at this time. So this week, a bunch of companies will meet to consider the Q1 2024 numbers. So investors, will brace for those earnings. But today, the bulls have it.
Thank you so much, Laddie. More market news this time.
Banking so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thank you, Joke. Manhattan's District Attorney Alvin Bragg begins the historic trial of former U.S. President Donald Trump in New York. We hear Simon Puser with other international news in Around the World in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The Israeli military's intelligence chief has resigned, saying he took responsibility for the failures before Hamas's attack on Israel on the 7th of October.
As for your question, Hezbollah...
The Israel Defense Forces said Major General Aharon Haliva would retire once his successor was selected. In a letter, he acknowledged that his intelligence directorate did not live up to the task we were entrusted with. He is the first senior figure to step down over the attacks, which were the deadliest in Israel's history. Israeli military and intelligence officials missed or ignored multiple warnings before hundreds of Hamas gunmen breached the Gaza border fence that day and attacked nearby Israeli communities, military bases and a music festival. About 1,200 Israelis and foreigners, mostly civilians, were killed, and 253 others were taken back to Gaza as hostages, according to Israeli tallies. Meanwhile, Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed to reject any sanctions on the country's military after reports that the US plans to cut aid to one unit. Earlier, the Axios news site said the US would target Israel's Netzer Yehuda battalion over alleged human rights violations in the occupied West Bank. Any move would come under a US ban on aid to foreign units credibly implicated in violations. Washington, Israel's main ally, has never suspended aid to an IDF unit before. India's opposition has accused Prime Minister Narendra Modi of Islamophobic remarks after he claimed his opponents would distribute people's wealth to infiltrators if they won power. Mr. Modi told a rally the opposition Congress wanted to distribute wealth to those who have many children. His remarks were widely seen as referring to India's Muslim minority. The Congress party has rejected the claim, which came days after the general election began. Mr. Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party government has often been accused of singling out India's minority communities, especially Muslims. Authorities have evacuated nearly 60,000 people from their homes in Guangdong as days of heavy rain caused massive flooding in China's most populous province. 3 people have died so far, while 11 have gone missing, according to state media. Footage on state media and online show large swathes of land inundated by the floods and rescuers ferrying people on lifeboats in waist-deep water. Several major rivers have burst their banks, and authorities are closely monitoring what they call dangerously high water levels. A winner of the French series of The Voice is in serious condition after being shot. Authorities say Keji Girak's life is no longer considered to be in danger. Police were called at about 5:30 in the morning local time, around 50 kilometers from Bordeaux. French media reported that in initial talks with investigators, he links the incident to his own mishandling of the firearm. Mr. Girak grew up in the Catalan gypsy community and won The Voice French edition in 2014. Tesla has cut prices for its electric vehicles by over 4% across major markets, including the US, China and Germany, days after CEO Elon Musk laid off 10% of its global workforce. In China, the starting price for the new Model 3 was cut by $1,930 to $32,000, and the Model 3 rear-wheel drive was slashed by about €2,000 to €42,990 in Germany. This all comes after Tesla's stock dropped below $150 per share on Friday, wiping out the company's gains over the past year. In recent years, the electric car giant has seen falling sales over increased competition in the sector. And thousands of people have been protesting in Tenerife, calling for the Spanish island to temporarily limit tourism to stem rising housing and living costs for locals. Holding placards reading, "People live here and we don't want to see our island die," demonstrators said changes must be made to the tourism industry that accounts for 35% of GDP in the Canary Islands archipelago. Smaller marches were held elsewhere in the island group and other Spanish cities, all of them organised by about 24 environmental organisations ahead of the peak summer holiday season. The organisations say local authorities should temporarily limit visitor numbers to alleviate pressure on the island's environment, infrastructure and housing stock, and put curbs on property purchases by foreigners. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. The Minister of Sports Development, Mr. John Eno, says his ministry is committed to revitalizing local leagues in the country by involving the private sectors. Mr. Eno continued his meeting in Lagos with a visit to prominent businessman and chairman of Hers Holdings, Tony Elubelu, with founder and chairman of Boa Group, Abdul Salman Rabiu, also joining virtually as the minister emphasizes the need for private investment in the country's local clubs. The minister also reiterates the importance of instilling confidence in Nigeria's prime sport football through strategic investment in the local league. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has warned his players ninth-place Chelsea would be dangerous opponent as he prepares his title-chasing Arsenal team for a testing London derby on Tuesday night. The Gunners are level on 74 points with second-place Liverpool, but have a superior goal difference. Meanwhile, Chelsea could be without their top scorer, Cole Palmer, when they visit the Emirates. Palmer is the joint top scorer in the league with 20 goals. However, Blues boss Mauricio Pochettino says the 21-year-old is struggling to recover from illness in time for the game. And meanwhile, world number 1 and record 24-time Grand Slam champion Novak Djokovic will not play at the Madrid Open this week. The 36-year-old Serbian star had pulled out of the tournament and he was not included in the draw held today. The 36-year-old is yet to win a title this season and has only played in 4 tournaments this year, having decided to lighten his schedule. That sport is back to you, Ayo, today.
Many thanks, Chris. And the main news again. President Bola Tinubu could...